I am nervous, but I mean, I gotta go.
Enticing promise of fast results, our perceived vision of the future fueled by newfound motivation. That is how a weight loss journey often starts. Amberlynn Reid was no different. She took a big leap, paid a pretty penny to see a professional with years of experience and a legendary reputation. She was excited and ready to act, only to crash and burn the very next day. Today, I wanted to take a closer look at this fiasco, the memorable scandal yet again caused by impulsive actions and questionable choices. We will look at the excuses, logic behind certain thoughts, how it all started, the lies, the deception in between, and the finale of the entire adventure.
So I haven't ate anything today. I've been awake for a few hours. I really want to start whatever program he wants to put me on. I want to start. Recap. My highest weight is 572.4. The last time I told you guys about my weight, I was 567.0. So I want to put the weight in that I was today right here. 562.2. And if you guys
There is no telling what made Amberlynn so eager and fired up to hop on this opportunity. My guess is that the recent ER visit and health scare she experienced could be it. She was recently diagnosed with bipolar and started taking a mood stabilizer.
If you guys didn't watch my last video, I was diagnosed with a bunch of different things, and one of them is I have bipolar disorder. And I figured I did, and it's just kind of crazy to like be actually diagnosed with it. So that is why I am taking this mood stabilizer, because I can't take antidepressants. She said that's actually why antidepressants don't work for me, is because I am bipolar. So we're gonna be taking a mood stabilizer, which I've never taken before, and it's not supposed to start actually working until 3 to 6 weeks. So today is day 1. So we did this thing. We are one step closer to a better Amberlynn. The next day, I am wearing the same thing I wore yesterday because I woke up and just threw it on because it was right next to the bed. But I am actually about to go to the ER. I only got about 4 hours of sleep, but really don't care. I noticed yesterday, I just feel like everything's falling apart. Like my whole body is just done, and I don't blame it. But yesterday I started noticing a pain slash little bit of, I guess you can call it maybe puffiness and hardness near my belly button. And my first instinct is hernia, because
She was experiencing pain in her belly button. Ultimately, she was put on antibiotics and she was going through a lot of stress. I must mention that this all happened in the summer of 2019, the summer where Amberlynn has reached, allegedly, her highest weight. She was around 570 pounds. This is also the era where she was bedbound. She admitted to the fact only years after. People have, of course, suspected this, and when she finally admitted it, she said she wasn't lying, she was just in denial.
they just weighed me 2 pounds heavier than I was this morning. But this morning I weighed naked.
Yeah, that's your clothes.
And also I have like earrings on now and stuff. So I'm nervous.
So day 1, Amberlynn was absolutely excited. She shared her weight with us, which was 563 pounds this morning. On June 6th, 2019, we will get into the issues with dates a little bit later. She took us to the doctor's office and she filmed a bit. She weighed again and she was 2 pounds more, which she blamed on her earrings.
We have a lot of food in our cabinets that I can't eat. Babe, what are we gonna do with all this? I guess just leave it for now because I don't want to sit there and like watch me put away my groceries. Oh god, this is probably so moldy.
As you can see right after the appointment, she went to a grocery store to restock her cabinets. She was ready to throw everything away and start fresh. She wasn't able to eat it, which meant it had to be gone. What was Becky gonna eat? Who knows? Not Amber. She didn't care or think about it because our girl has always been slightly self-centered. After that, she filmed the entire haul of what she bought, but she left that for another video and she split it in half. And so she begins to give us a big speech about her doctor. She loved him. She felt like he was so knowledgeable. She tried to present him to us in the best light possible.
He was honest. He was funny. And he seemed a little bit rushed, but I can understand why. Like, he had a whole bunch of people. Like, he is like the weight loss doctor of the world. Like, I love it. Like, you could tell that he has just done this for a long time. He lost weight himself. And that I would also lose weight actually slower getting weight loss surgery versus not getting weight loss surgery. And he explained it a little bit more. And he said that your best bet is to just follow kind of what I tell you to do, and you'll lose weight faster. The thing is, this shocked me. He doesn't want me to lose weight super quick. He said about 8 pounds a month. And that got me shocked because, I could probably lose 8 pounds in a week, especially in the beginning. But we made little goals, especially what he thinks is doable, where he wants me to be a certain weight on July 4th of 2020. And he did a certain weight on July 4th of 2021. And then he went all the way until 4 years from now. And 4 years from now, he thinks I can weigh 310. And I know to a lot of people, that's like still like super heavy, like you're still obese. But he explained that me being 310 pounds 4 years from now versus me being 600 pounds in just a couple of months is going to be amazing. It did make me sad when he was just like, I don't want you to die. And I'm just like, I mean, I don't want to die either.
His approach was interesting, at least from what Amberlynn has told us, because that's really the only thing we know about him. People were comparing the doctor to the iconic Doctor Now from My 600-Pound Life. Many people voiced their opinions. Of course, losing 8 pounds a month at her size seemed unreasonable. Many people pointed out that losing 50 pounds a month would have been a reasonable expectation, especially if she wanted to get weight loss surgery. At least according to what we all saw on TV, what Dr. Now usually expects and recommends. The saddest part of the video was the fact that Amber was out of breath just talking for a couple of minutes. It seems like Amberlynn was well aware of this opinion as well, but it seems that the approach here was the slow and steady wins the race. I believe that he recommended this particular approach because it would be something that she could sustain for a very long time. Losing 8 pounds a month would be something that she can actually realistically do and fully change her habits instead of drastically dropping off the weight, which maybe perhaps it was caused by her age or like relative lack of health issues, but we'll never know.
No. Oh, this part. This part. Oh my God. He was like, how often do you weigh yourself? I was like, sometimes every day, sometimes 3 times a day. And he looks at Becky and goes, throw away the scale. I'm like, you're going to do what to my scale? He doesn't want me to weigh myself until I go to his office again in 2 weeks because I'm going back in 2 weeks. What kind of activity do you do? And I explained to him, I can only walk about 3 minutes, And he was like, I want you to walk for 2 minutes 5 times a day. So I was like, okay, we can make that work.
Another controversial opinion Amber was exposed to was getting rid of her scale. No more weigh-ins, no more obsessing over numbers and monitoring her progress until she was at his office. You could tell she was very uncomfortable with this idea. I think it was the first thing that she has heard that she really did not like, and the only seemingly negative thing that she has shared with us at this time. This will come into play later. He also wanted her to exercise. She expressed that she could only walk for around 3 minutes at the time, so he figured she can walk 2 minutes at a time, but 5 times a day. Another idea she was not thrilled about. And somehow she never realized that being this immobile is not normal, that this is not how a 20-something-year-old woman should live. On one hand, it was a reality for her for a long time, happening gradually and slowly. On the other hand, I don't know if she was this delusional and unaware of herself. Perhaps it was easier to lie to herself rather than admit at the time that she was indeed bedbound.
Oh, situation. Hey guys, how you doing? How you doing, boo-boo? What you doing? How you doing? Okay, I don't know what that was, but I am going to explain. I have been debating back and forth if I wanted to make this video because I know a lot of people have very, very, very strong opinions.
And so now we proceeded to the grocery haul she did the very same day, right after her appointment. She was nervous to share this information. She was afraid of criticisms and opinions of her audience about this. She didn't want to get discouraged or told that she was wrong for doing this. She really tried to use the authority of this doctor over her audience to make sure no one questions yet another plan. Many were skeptical and figured she wouldn't last very long. The Optivia scandal hadn't blown over yet. The dust had not settled, yet she was trying something else yet again. Here she shared exactly what she was going to eat.
For my first meal, I don't have all the ingredients for that, so I'm gonna have there's two options. I'm gonna have eggs with bacon. It says for either lunch or dinner. I think I'm gonna do these for my lunches. To have a lean cuisine or a smart one or, one of those frozen meals. But he said that he wants those meals to have 20 grams of protein and it has to be under 400 calories. What am I gonna be having for dinner? So just to put it super easy, he said do meats, veggies.
Pay particular attention to what she says she is supposed to be having for dinner. Meat and vegetables. Please pay attention. Keep that in mind.
I want to follow my weight loss doctor's orders because he's done this before. He has lost weight himself and he's kept it off for I think he said 15 years. And he has so many patients, hundreds and hundreds. I'm pretty sure probably thousands.
We had a nice breakdown of breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks, even tips on how to eat while she was out and about, which I found really interesting. And apparently Amberlynn was very stoked about that too.
He explained, you're still going to go out to eat. It's still going to happen. You're going to be in a hurry somewhere and you're going to have to stop at fast food. It's still going to happen. So he gave me tons of examples of what I can and can't eat for times like that. And a really good example that he showed me is say you're in a super big rush and you need to get some food in and you're out doing something, swing by the McDonald's, get yourself a cheeseburger, take off half of the bun. And I was like, okay, I've actually seen a lot of low carb people do that. So anyways.
She was nervous but eager and excited. This was similar to a keto-type diet, a lot of meat, vegetables, and whole foods. It seemed healthy, especially since it was recommended by a doctor. She believed what she was told. She was ready to embrace the criticism and give it a go. She even had a little pep talk from the doctor as to not let other people dictate what she should or shouldn't eat and should not care about the hate online.
So I'm allowed to have bacon because there's a lot of people who talk really mean stuff about me eating bacon. And he was like, who are these people? Do they decide what gas you put in their car, what shampoo you use on your hair? And I was like, that's a very good point.
The cracks started showing right here in this grocery haul. She was already battling the idea of keto, low carb. She was bracing herself for the negative opinions. She mentioned how different doctors have different approaches, and she hopes this one will work for her. She was afraid, nervous, and unsure of this. She was already looking for a possible way out. She was preparing possible excuses. Once she was too uncomfortable and ready to quit, she would have a reason. She never tried low carb before. She never ate like this. She knew people were going to be mad at her. She used this as an excuse during the Optivia fiasco. She blamed her audience and said they never wanted her to do it in the first place. So they have no right to be mad now that she has quit. This was a rinse and repeat of the exact same scenario, just dressed in a different layer of paint. And I would just like to notice that the reasons why she likes this diet now will become the excuses later, so please pay extra attention. And now, Before we move on to day 2, there are some date discrepancies from the start. She tells us the date is the 6th of June 2019. The video was uploaded on July 14th the same year. There's a chance that she misspoke and meant to say July, meaning she released this video a week after it happened, long after she quit, or sat on this footage for a month. Either way, she posted this, as well as the grocery haul and multiple videos in between before she announced that she quit the diet literally the next day. She has always milked her content, always held on to information, hid stuff from her audience for days before uploading an explanation and causing a big controversy. This is the kind of behavior that led to mistrust from her audience. She destroyed her reputation and any rapport she ever had with people who supported her. She was acting like everything was great, yet she kept uploading other videos that she pre-filmed. She did a little house tour, a video about obese to bees, the Q&A, showed us what happened during a storm, and finally uploaded the iconic truth about the weight loss doctor. That video was uploaded on the July 20th, 2019, around a week after she has already quit. If we stick to the theory that she misspoke and meant 6th of July, then nearly 3 weeks have passed between the events. If not, then a month and a half leading her audience on. I don't personally know which one is more likely, so I would very much be interested in your opinions.
I wanted to talk to you about the weight loss doctor, the program, kind of like how I'm feeling, what I'm doing after the high and the newness of it kind of has worn off.
So here we are, the day where she quit the weight loss plan prescribed by her own doctor that she praised. We hear a nice collection of excuses reminiscent of the time not long ago when she quit Optavia. She outed herself, she went to the doctor, went shopping, and then slept on it. We could argue whether this was figurative or not, but she still quit rather quickly. I believe that she quit the next day. The fact that she's never had a chance to film what I eat in a day during this plan, she never showed us what she's actually doing. She straight up ghosted the doctor and she ghosted us, the audience, at the very same time. She prepared several excuses as to why she decided to quit. She was trying to paint herself as a victim of an uneducated, insensitive doctor. She turned from loving him to claiming that what he prescribes is unhealthy in a flash. She didn't think to ask her doctor about her concerns. She instead she just chose to act like a child.
So as you guys know, a couple weeks ago, I went to a weight loss doctor. I was so excited. I was like amped up. I was nervous. But more than anything, I was excited because I was finally going to see someone that could possibly change my life forever.
So first things first, she had many people contacting her. Many people saying the first doctor you ever see might not be the best fit. She, of course, dismissed that because she knows better.
And tell me, sometimes the first weight loss doctor you see isn't going to be the right one. Sometimes you don't even need to see a weight loss doctor. You need to see a nutritionist, and all this stuff. And I didn't want to believe it. I was like, no, this is going to be my one and only. I'm so excited. But let me just talk for a minute. So the first thing I found strange is that he didn't think weight loss surgery was right for me. For someone my size, a lot of people my size, they get told that weight loss surgery is right for you.
Later on, we move into questioning the professionalism of the doctor. She tries to discredit him, claiming he was ranting about his personal stuff and not letting her know what she was supposed to eat. She is mentally creating a red flag for him that she can use to further her agenda, convincing us, the audience, is the ultimate goal here. See, guys, he was just so rambly. I had to correct him and do so several times. See how unprofessional he is?
I said this in the video before. He kept forgetting to tell me about what I should eat for dinners. And so finally, 3 different times, I was just like, So yeah, you didn't tell me what I have to do for dinner, and I felt kind of annoying, but like that was the thing. That was why I went there. He was supposed to, tell me these things. He looked at me and he's like, so what do you think you should eat for dinner? And before I could even say anything, Becky was sitting and she was like, I'm thinking like chicken. He was like, exactly, just a piece of meat. You can even go to McDonald's and have cheeseburgers if you wanted, just take off the bun. But he wasn't mentioning like fruits and vegetables. And for some reason that just like surprised me for some reason. So I was like, well, do I have, stuff on the side? Do I have like veggies or whatever, like broccoli? And he was like, yeah, that's fine. But he was like, make sure you don't have a lot of it because it's filled with tons of carbs. And I was just like, okay. For some reason, in my gut kind of twisted a bit. You know how like when you should trust your instinct, trust your gut and your heart and what that says? I was like, okay, so he'd rather me eat, I'm not saying anything's wrong with like bacon and stuff, like have that in moderation, of course, but he would rather me eat like sodium-filled beef jerky, and he'd rather me go to McDonald's and have a cheeseburger over broccoli. For some reason, that like churned me, like in my stomach, it like made me. And I'm gonna tell you guys why. I'm not saying this is a bad weight loss doctor. He's probably freaking amazing. But I do find some things odd and strange.
Another issue she found was that he was not recommending fruit and vegetables, which by the way is an absolute lie, as we saw in a couple of clips ago when he was explaining to her what she was supposed to eat is meat and vegetables. Well, either way, she admits herself she doesn't even eat fruit or vegetable as is, but now it is an issue. He recommended a cheeseburger without a bun, but not vegetables? Do you think a doctor would ever tell a patient not to eat broccoli? He did mention being careful about carbs, but I have some doubts whether he banned her from eating fresh, non-starchy food. She was specifically asking about sides, meaning traditionally for her, whole-baked potato or a pile of rice or pasta, but she chose to hear that as a ban of vegetables. So this filled her gut with dread because she knows so much better than a doctor.
So we were going back and forth and he was telling me what to eat. And he was telling me what kinds of foods I like because he didn't want me to eat things I didn't like, obviously. So he didn't mention anything of fruits and vegetables, not a single thing. And for some reason that shocked me because I feel like a good nutritional diet is to have fruits and vegetables. And I remember because I kept trying to because he kept just talking, it was he talked a lot about himself, which I enjoyed because
She said he would rather have me eat beef jerky or go to McDonald's rather than eat broccoli? This is what she chose to hear at that appointment. The mental gymnastics here deserve a gold medal. She dismissed the meaning of his statements and turned it into something completely negative and terrible, where in actuality, she was just likely told not to eat too many carbs. But then she moves on to the lack of control she has over food. Initially, she is excited about being told what to eat and not to think about it, but somehow twists it into an excuse.
He wanted me to stay under a carb limit, and he said, no, don't log your food. And in my head, I was like, then how do I know how many carbs I'm staying under? Because he gave me a specific number. And then I was like, well, should I count calories? And he was like, no, don't worry about calories because I don't want you to become obsessive or anything like that. Just follow exactly what I told you to eat. So I was just like, okay. I was really excited not to have to count calories because that is my least favorite thing to do in the whole world. It's so overwhelming, but it does the job. I'm going to be honest.
Restriction in her mind is an obstacle that cannot be tackled. In the same breath, we have another excuse, still tied to control. She was not allowed to track her food intake or calories. It was a massive issue for her right there. She would have to change yet another habit she claimed she hates and let go of obsessing over numbers. But now moving on, halfway through her day, the problems began. She had to eat breakfast. It's something she normally doesn't do, but now she has to, and that started off her day wrong. It affected her mood and already caused issues. She immediately went against the advice of the doctor.
And it was the day was over halfway over. And normally I don't really like eating breakfast. You guys know this about me. So my day was kind of off kilter already because he wanted me to eat breakfast. So I was just following plan. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do something he told me not to do. I decided to go on MyFitnessPal and I decided to log my food on there.
And so she discredits him here yet again. She sarcastically mentions that you should always listen to your doctor because they're professionals, right? Even if they are telling you something wrong and you know it. Questioning his authority and dismissing his years of experience while holding on to an obvious fact. Even toddlers know that fruits and vegetables are healthy, so she uses a common sense fact, against the doctor.
Everything that I was going to eat that day, because everything was ready, set, and scheduled to go. And I still had dinner to eat. So I was logging my food, doing my thing, and I was excited. I was like, okay, I could probably eat like this every day. I don't have to eat tons of fruit and veggies. Like, okay, if I could lose weight and not have to eat those, cool. Because I should believe everything a weight loss doctor says, right? See, it sounds like I'm being like rude. I'm really not. This is just like how I feel for me and like my body and my situation. But anyways, so I logged everything and my sodium was over 4,000 milligrams. I think it was at 4,600. I was about to say 46,000. I'd be dead. Yeah, it was at 4,600 milligrams. And that took me aback, especially because the calories versus the sodium completely shook me. It was like 720 calories. That was all I was going to eat every single day. And I was like, my eating disorder mind and like everything that's happened to me in the past with like food and like everything just like came rushing back, and I started thinking of Optavia and I started thinking of my binge eating disorder, and I was just like, what?
Well, almost as if going against the wishes of your doctor should probably have bad consequences, but alas, 4,000 milligrams of sodium was the issue that she presented here. I don't know how she managed this amount. Just from eggs and a TV dinner. She must have snacked a bunch on beef jerky in between the meals. It was completely up to her to make a better choice. She likely chose the most extreme options out of the bunch. She had the option of modifying this plan by snacking on cottage cheese or Greek yogurt, but she refused to entertain any solution to this made-up problem. In tandem of going against the weight loss doctor's orders, she logged her calories. Those came up to 700 a day, just around. It's very little, but with the body mass that she's acquired over the years, eating like that for a week would not have any adverse effects on her, even for 2 weeks before she saw him next, other than losing weight. She took that as a threat, relying on the standard value of 1,200 or 1,500 calories a day for a healthy average woman. Lack of flexibility is now all of a sudden a problem as well. She was happy and beyond joyful over the perspective of not counting calories and having a simple meal plan to follow. She claimed she couldn't possibly change a single thing and opted out of it completely. She could have brought those concerns to the doctor and modified the plan with him. Instead, she decides he's incompetent and just moves on.
Like, stop eating that and add more of that to my diet and, make sure I don't have as much sodium, but like higher my calories. I couldn't, because he told me distinctively, this is what you're going to be eating every single day. And I don't know. I want to know. DM me if you want. Is 720 calories every single day? Is that okay for someone?
But wait, there's more. Low nutritional value and fear of starvation were just too much to overcome. Those 720 calories a day, when she's used to about 4,000 a day, was just too much to bear. A 600-pound woman is now suddenly worried about her health and nutrition. Not sure if I have to say it, but I'm uncertain how she has reached this body weight without neglecting those aspects of her life before. It's impossible.
Especially when there's like really no fruits and no vegetables. It's all very like processed meats and things like that. And it's like a lot of sodium. Is that like okay? So before anyone clocks me and they're like in the comments and they're saying, well, you eat, tons of sodium on the daily basis anyways. You guys, I am trying my hardest to find a sustainable, doable, healthy, nutritious, not malnourished type of lifestyle.
I think the cherry on top was the scale. She wasn't allowed to use it anymore, so yet again, lack of control was ringing in her ears, and she just could not bring herself to trust this doctor in any capacity, any way, shape, or form because of this excuse.
Not following my doctor's plan anymore. I don't even think I'm ever going to see him again. I don't feel comfortable eating only 700 calories and having over 4,000 milligrams of sodium. It just doesn't make sense to me. It makes me feel uncomfortable. I want to be able to eat vegetables. I personally like vegetables. I mean, I don't eat them every day, but like when I'm on track and trying to become a better me, vegetables are key. They make me feel better. I want to be able to have some fruit here and there. Moral of the story, 700 calories, over 4,000 milligrams of sodium doesn't make sense, doesn't add up in my brain. It's not right for me, but I do want to let everyone know, don't you fret. I've not given up. I'm back on the bicycle and I'm going to be making a whole other video.
So she made up every single excuse that she could, just to avoid the discomfort, letting go of her current habits, and foregoing control. This is the reason why she wasn't, and likely still isn't, ready for weight loss surgery. She's not ready to change, and the surgery won't fix that. And to summarize, her excuses were that the doctor was unprofessional, he didn't know what he was talking about, he was rambling too much, he made her eat way too much sodium, way too little calories, even if it's for a little bit. The lack of flexibility, the inability for her to completely change the diet plan, to improve it, to make it more suitable. And of course, the absolute lack of control, which I think is the ultimate reason.